welcome to another conversation for the Millionairess magazine and the Millionairess movement. I'm Amanda Jane Clarkson, editor-in-chief, and today I'm delighted to be joined by the lovely, effervescent Lindsay Albanese. Lindsay is a Los Angeles-based established fashion stylist, TV personality, accessories inventor, content creator, social influencer, and a switched-on businesswoman. Her mission is to cultivate sophistication and relatability to empower you to wear what makes you feel your best, regardless of the trends. I'm all for hearing about that. Welcome, Lindsay, and thank you again for being part of the Millionairess magazine.
Yeah,
wow.
Thank you.
Why don't you share a little bit about your story, Lindsay? How did your journey to where you are now begin?
Well, thankfully, it began when I was 20 because I truly was a DF student, a reckless child, teenager. I was asked to leave high school my junior year because I wouldn't go. I was always in trouble. So I was really most likely to not succeed. Quite honestly, I was always in trouble, and it's crazy. I actually came.
That's a good sign.
It's pretty, it's truly, and it's funny, people now, my business associates, like literally say, I don't believe you. I really don't believe that is who you were as a kid. And it's true. So beyond that, I think, it's when I was able to leave general education and really choose what I wanted to put my time and effort into is when my life changed. So at 20 years old, which, I'm 40. So 20 years ago, I wanted to be a fashion stylist. No one knew what that was. And not even my fashion school, I went to fashion school, knew how to tell me how to, become a fashion stylist. So just the journey from there has just been a trial and error. I feel like I could be like an investigator, maybe work in the FBI, because I feel like I've used that skill to figure out how to be a fashion stylist, how to be, and invent a product, launch a brand, grow a social media audience. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, my craft, I started out a celebrity fashion stylist. I was a stylist on American Idol, Dancing with the Stars. I have worked with celebrities from Jimmy Kimmel to, I don't know, Fran Drescher, Sarah Hyland. So I did that for about 12 years. And I realized I didn't want to work for celebrities my whole life. And then I was like, and I also think in life, you conquer things. I mean, you're a businesswoman. You've had a lot of businesses. Like you want to build something and then you build it and you achieve success. And maybe you realize, you know what, I kind of want to pivot in a different direction. I think a lot of people don't think that's okay, but I think it's very much okay to accumulate success, and then you can move on and pivot into something else that piques your curiosity. I think we only have one life to live.
I couldn't agree with you more. Sticking to one thing your whole life, I couldn't think of anything more boring, actually. I'm a bit like you. I failed everything at school. I was a total failure, told I would be nothing or eventuate into nothing. And 33 different jobs later, 14 different businesses. I think in this day and age, you can't think but pivot, change, go with you've got to change and flow, because how fast is the world evolving and changing? I mean, from your young perspective, you would see change nonstop. So going back to styling for celebrities, you said, I can't see myself doing this forever. Mm-hmm. What was the moment when you thought, I need to do something different? Because for a lot of women listening to this and watching this, they go, that would be a dream, Lindsay. What were you thinking?
Mm-hmm. First and foremost, it was a dream. It was, I think back and I can't believe that I'm retired. Like I did it. I truly had a career where I made a lot of money. I traveled the world. And it was a dream. And I think, like I said, when you conquer things and then you really have conquered it, and then you think, what do I want to do with my career? So the downside was, to be honest, I was sick of the politics. I was sick of being at the beck and call of my celebrity clients. And that's the job, and that's a part of the job. That's just what it is. Celebrity clients calling you at 1 a.m., texting you or demanding you come over to their house in 15 minutes, and so that wore on me. I think also there's always an element, and this is crazy, and people are so surprised to hear this, but it's the truth. there's always an element of working for free as a fashion stylist, even if you're styling the biggest celebrities in the world. Because inevitably those celebrities are doing photo shoots for small magazines for different little cities across the US, and because they need to still do that press, but those magazines don't have any budget. So you still have to deliver like you're styling a big budget commercial, but then you're not making any money. And I was really sick of that. Because I'd have to come out of pocket for a lot of things. And I just felt that that's a highly flawed part of being a fashion stylist in the entertainment business, that you just have to work for free. So those two things. And I also just wanted to dictate my own life and future, and being a stylist, you can to a degree, but ultimately you are a service to somebody.
Yeah.
So
I just love this truth serum that's coming out of you, because so many people won't face the truth or share the truth. And where I feel that you weren't getting fair exchange of value, but the thing I love about what you just said, Lindsay, is that you thought more about yourself and said to yourself, I deserve more than this. I want to dictate my life. And I'm all about creating a life by design. That's my whole philosophy.
Yes.
Because in your industry, I imagine, and you can correct me, that a lot of people would be running scared, being bossed around, doing what other people wanted them to do, but inside feeling really peeved off and not happy with their life. Would that be normal in the type of industry that you've come from?
Yeah, I've been chewed up, spit out. I have been grabbed by a celebrity client. I've been held hostage in their house. I've been loved. So it's like when you go through it and you've accumulated great success and you've been through it, I think that gives you clarity to realize, like, do I want to do this forever, or do I want to pivot into something else? And I'm grateful for that, because my gosh, I still sometimes sit with my husband and my family and say, I can't believe I was like a stylist on the Britney Spears Toxic music video. Like that was another lifetime, another career, another Lindsay. I was in my early 20s. I'm 40 now, so it's really cool to think back, but definitely, happy about that strategic pivot out of styling.
And it takes a lot of courage to recognize. I remember in my 20s getting pushed around, and then when I was about your age, I went, that's enough of that, thanks very much. Instead of trying to be a people pleaser, become a disruptor and get out there and serve other people, which I want to talk about now. I love your invention for your accessories. So when you left the industry of dressing celebrities, let's say, and styling celebrities, what was the impetus to get into creating accessories or inventing accessories, which I absolutely love? Do you want to share a little bit more about that journey?
Yeah. So when I was styling celebrities, obviously, you're carrying all their stuff and dealing with all their stuff and yours. So I was like, we would go to Cannes, France, and there's like all these hats. And then when we go someplace, they're sick of wearing their hats. So I'm holding it in my hand. And I was like, there's gotta be a better way for me to travel and go to point A, point B with my hat, and also my clients. So I thought of this idea actually, now it was probably 8 years ago. Yeah. And so I made a little arts and crafts version of it, and I started using it, and people would stop me in the airport and say, that is so clever. And I knew it. I knew I was onto something. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use this in public, but I'm not ready to invent something and launch a brand. So I'm just going to put this on the back burner, because at that point I was still like styling and then starting my YouTube channel in an effort to get out of styling and make money on my YouTube and Instagram, So about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I went into development, which is Tote, the hat holder. I should have had it right next to me. It's actually over there.
Why don't you run over and get it?
Okay, let me okay. All right.
Let's have a lookie.
Close by. So, here we go. So Tote is I clearly wasn't ready to show you. Actually, that's a terrible marketing thing I just did for my own self. Okay, yeah. So Tote it looks like a handbag charm. This is our best seller, actually. and it attaches to your handbag, your suitcase, belt loop, whatever. And it allows you to travel with your hat hands-free.
I love that because I travel so much to America, Hawaii. We love to go to Hawaii every year. And what do I take? At least 3 or 4 hats. Yeah. It's a real pain in the bum. Like you said, you've got to either wear it and then your hair's all daggy at the airport while you're drinking your champagne. And then you take it off and you forget it because you've had a couple of champagnes and you walked off and left your hat sitting there.
Exactly.
And I saw that and I thought, I'm going to get me one of them because I love my hats. I wear them all the time, especially here in Australia. So ladies, get your accessory. What's it actually called? What's the exact
Top Tote? Top Tote. And it's a hat. Top Tote. Yeah. And it's a hat holder. And it's actually the most significant invention for hat carrying since the hat box. And it's just mind blowing that no one has invented anything for hat travel since the hat box in like the early 1900s. So
is that right?
And it's true. I mean, I was the crazy enough, the first person to think of this construction because I patented it and everything. I mean, it truly, this product did not exist. And this design didn't exist of the two. It's 2 high powered magnets in what they call a planar shape that, attached to the brim. So it's very exciting. And my gosh, if you would have told me when I started out styling that I was ever going to be doing this,
wow. I just noticed too that it was the way it clamped the hat, ladies, is that I noticed that it didn't squash the hat or mark it because you just said it's 2 magnets. That is brilliance.
Yeah, I love that. So it evenly disperses the pressure so that it doesn't indent your hat like if we add a clip or something. We tried a lot of different things, but yeah, so it's a life changer. I mean, even beyond traveling, when you go to the beach and you wear your hat, maybe you get sick of it or it's windy or you go on a boat. It's truly just like a functional product for all hat wearers. So.
Well, you could even, with the little tote, because you had a little key ring thing on the top of it, hang that on a hook, just say next to your wardrobe or on a boat or something, or on your holidays on the back of the door, and still hang your hat so that they don't lose their shape and form. I love it. I've got to get me one of those.
We'll send you one for sure. Absolutely.
I'll be watching your videos. I picked up a couple of tips and strategies, but moving back to you. Now, going from working with styling the celebrities to being an inventor, I have no doubt you've had so many challenges, as all business women do, being entrepreneurs. How do you overcome your challenges when you face adversity, and especially people who don't believe in you, Lindsay, or want to pull you back to being your old self?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more adversity. And I always hate to say this because, I hate to be a doomsdayer. I'm just trying to be a realist, but it's more challenges and adversities than shining moments. But the shining moments are so huge that that's what keeps you going, right? Like, so I guess I've always been a bit of like I've gone against the grain with a lot of things in life. And when I was younger, it wasn't going against the right grain, so I've kind of always had that like natural born leader, like someone who likes a challenge kind of personality. So that came a little easier. I've been a risk taker. I've always pushed the limits. But as far as getting through it, I mean, I have to give it to, my support system. I mean, my family was very unconventional as far as because they came from such a conventional, like Catholic, you have a corporate job, and they didn't want that. So early on, I had the advantage, truly. I was encouraged to. I also think my parents were just so desperate for me to stop getting in trouble that they were like, do anything as long as you like it and it's not illegal. So I think that support system helped, and constant people around you to pep talk you to keep going is really, like, my husband's very supportive because it's hard. You need people to knock some sense into you when you've been defeated and tell you to get back up and keep going. Like, it really helps to have those people around.
We talk about mentorship and being in the right environment because you become like those you hang out with. Have you had mentors along your pathway, or have you figured it all out yourself? Like I used to when I was young, trying to work it out myself, spinning my wheels.
Yeah.
But what about mentors in your life? Have you experienced many?
Yeah, so I would say similar to you, it's on a constant pursuit of figuring it out from nothing. I didn't have family in the industry. I didn't have friends in the fashion industry. Everyone just had conventional jobs. So I never had any family money or family connections or friends. So like you, it was always just researching. And when there's a will, there's a way, like calling. So that is a big part of it. But I've always said my superpower is the fact that I can identify that my superpower is the fact that I am an expert question asker, and I do not have an ego about asking. So I think a lot of people think that, oh no, I know, I saw this and I know. It's like, no, I've literally called everyone from like my parents' neighbors, even just recently, because this neighbor I remember was in manufacturing of sunglasses when I was a kid. And before I launched Tote, I called them and said, hey, Mike, remember me from down the street 20 years ago? And people are so willing to talk about themselves. That's what I think so many budding entrepreneurs are so apprehensive about reaching out and asking for help or calling somebody, maybe a friend or friend of a friend, a friend of a friend of a friend. Forget it. You got to ask. So I think my superpower of being an unabashed, just question asker, shameless question asker has really helped me exactly where I'm at now.
We're so similar in so many ways. I'm a great question asker. And I remember when I got into manufacturing and importing, which was one of my bigger businesses, I rang up an old boss of mine who used to do it and said, can I please take you out for lunch? I just love to get some ideas around manufacturing and importing. And he just told me what he could. And just like you, I just had to ask. I've never been one to pretend I know it all. And people who say to me, yeah, I know that. And I say, if you knowed it, you would have done it.
Yeah.
But you don't know it.
Exactly. Very true.
I love that because there's no shame in asking. I mean, how are we supposed to know? That the thing is, like you would probably remember when I went to school, I went to a Catholic school, asking for help was shamed, or asking your girlfriend sitting beside you, if you leant over to help, say, can you help me with this question? You'd get told off for a piece of chalk thrown at you back in those days.
Yeah.
So as adults, we feel ashamed to ask for help, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I remember my mom used to say that teachers would say things like, she just asked too many questions, and then, this is in the 80s. So yeah, things have changed now. You hope most places, right? So, but truly, I mean, it is a secret power. You have to ask. I mean, and it's funny, I always have to remind myself even to ask now, because you get so busy and consumed and you have this big role and you're renowned in your own way and you have so much going on that it's easy to escape you, that all I have to do is call because you're so busy, But even just yesterday, I was like, oh, I need to call the owner of my factory because he's going to know about this issue that's unrelated to even manufacturing my product. I just have a relationship with him. And lo and behold, I called him yesterday and he was able to help me tremendously with how I go about this issue, so just ask away. biggest
just be an empty book, open book. That's what I say to just open your mind. There's always somebody who's done it before you who has the answer, and don't waste your time and your energy. I always say invest or pay once, cry once. Even if you need to, I've paid my whole life for mentors. I would rather pay for the knowledge and get there today than stuff around wasting years and years, because I lose my confidence. Let's just change track for a second. Now, women out there, you've got an amazing and loyal following on Insta, social media. I mean, you're a little celebrity out there, girlfriend. There's so many women that would love to be like you, Lindsay, but they're so afraid of putting themselves out there because of the critics. Have you had many keyboard critics, or what would you say to the woman who wants to do what you're doing but frightened of being pulled down?
Well, then if you're going to be frightened of that, you shouldn't get into business, because that's just the reality.
Exactly.
And the bigger you get, the more people are talking about you, and it's not always good. Yeah, I mean, you can't get around that. And you just have to have faith in that you're following your passion and your curiosity, and this fulfills you. That's why I tell people, you cannot be an influencer. You can't launch a brand. You can't do all these things because other people are doing it and it seems cool. You have to have a genuine interest and passion and curiosity about it, because that's what's going to get you through when you have the terrible comment, when someone's trying to take you down. It's that passion that brings you back and centers you to be like, oh, that hurt, but you know what? Like, this fulfills me. I'm going to keep going, So everything that I've done and chosen is because I've had a genuine passion and curiosity, and that's what keeps me on track when things get rough.
Well, the thing I notice about your videos, and you are an influencer, you have so many loyal fans, that you have a bit of fun. You don't take yourself so seriously. So for the women out there who would love to be an influencer but turn that into income streams, how do you do that? Or what would be the message that you could share about that from your own experience?
Yeah, I think the most important part is, obviously, like I said, authenticity. Whatever you're posting about, there needs to be a why, like why you're doing this. And that's really going to root the consistency. Like, it could be like, oh, I love cooking, and then family, and that's what it's all about. So I think it's the authenticity. But the two things that really create a foundation and build over time, as it's consistency and persistence. That is truly the secret sauce in achieving and growing. Not that it's the magic words, but over time, your consistency and your persistence create momentum. But it's like, I can't stand when I talk to people, oh, I started a YouTube channel, but and then I uploaded for a few weeks and then I stopped. I was like, well, you might as well have never started. Like, if you're going to start, you can't stop. Yes. If that's really what you want to do, then you have to commit to it, So consistency and persistence are just really the words that, that mount into success over time,
And they're not really those two words. I mean, they've been around since, for hundreds of years. Growing up with my mentors, that was the thing to do, because we didn't have instant success. Because when I started, there was no Facebook, no internet, no nothing like this. But we live in a society now, Lindsay, where we want instant fame. We want instant fortune. I speak to so many women who want to walk the red carpet as a celebrity, but they don't want to be persistent. They don't want to commit. They don't want to go through the heartache sometimes that is associated with success. What would be your message to these women? Because you're in that age bracket where you got some of the, I guess, my era of education, but also very young and in that instant arena.
That's such a loaded, I could actually do a whole series about that.
I think we should.
I know, right? I think I would say, read up on 30 people in your field, and I'm going to tell you that 90% of them have put in the time and the hard work and gone through the no's and the yeses. So that's the reality. Overnight success is a myth, and honestly, I would kind of be like, pull your head out of your ass.
That's gold. That's the winning line today.
Like, okay, you want it. You want the easy part, but you're not going to put in the time to earn that award. Like, life doesn't even work like that. You don't just get money or anything, fair treatment, all these things from just showing up. Like, you have to earn it. It's, so that's a tough one to answer. And it depends on who who'd I be talking to really.
I love the way you answered it. I love the way you answered it. And would you agree that this desire for instant fame, instant fortune has a lot to do with mental health issues that so many people don't want to talk about, because people want it now, and then they're addicted to instant gratification. But when it doesn't come, it creates anxiety, it creates overwhelm, it creates depression, because they're not aware that it does take time. It takes commitment.
Yeah, that's the downside of social media. So that is really there's so much accessibility to everything. And so you're consuming everyone's highlight reels. You're not seeing, everything that went into it. So naturally, and I would think that too, as a young kid, I would think that it would come easier because that's what I'm seeing. So I'm grateful that I only knew what my neighbors and my friends on my block were doing, because we didn't have, it kind of gave you a realistic expectation of life, where now I don't even know I don't blame them for thinking it's going to take mentors and support system and real people and strong, solid mentors and parents to really talk some reality into them, because that is the worst part of one of the worst parts of social media.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I try not to spend too much time scrolling through, because I think it can really do your head in, because so much of it is just bullshit. Excuse me if you don't like that language, but it is. It's not real. It's not real, because 14 different businesses, my experience is a roller coaster. So many downs, so many highs, so many everything in betweens. And to get real long-term financial stability and business stability, life stability, where you're calm inside and outside, it's not overnight. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort. And I don't think it's for the weak.
No way. Oh my gosh, no way. It's tough, but it's so rewarding. I mean, my dad told me, he's like, if you weren't doing all this, you would be bored. And it's so true. Like, I'm busy to the max, but it's living the dream, and when the great things happen, you're like, oh God, I worked so hard and I got it. Yes. So.
And how rewarding is it, Lindsay, when there's something that you've created or a business that you've born that impacts another person's life? I mean, how many people's lives have you impacted? How does that feel?
Well, that is something that's accelerated more in this past year as my visibility has grown, as my product brand has grown, and as I've pivoted out of doing. For a while, my social media, especially Instagram, was outfits and talking about style. But with the launch of my brand 2 years ago, it was like, I want to get out of that because I'm so much more than fashion. Like, I've gone through so much. I've even been a DF kid. Like, I even have that narrative to talk about. I have a learning disability, So it's this year has accelerated the outreach and the import of people asking for guidance in my DMs and emails. And it is wonderful. People will just leave me voice messages on Instagram saying how much they appreciate what I'm doing, and it made them start their business. And that is like, I can't even process that. That is like such a gift to me. Because some of these people don't have anybody saying that to them. So that's good. I'm doing that for them. Oh my goodness. That is like, and some people are so nice. Like, it's just, really, I mean, when you talk about the critics and everything, for whatever reason, I think it's because I'm a girl's girl. I'm a people's person. I love talking and communicating. I love getting deep. Nothing's off the table. I think it's really translated really well with my content. So I really have a very impressive group of people that follow me. And I'm just like really grateful and proud of like this little community that I've built. So.
Well, you've obviously got a, really big heart. And I think the journey that you're on now is going to be so fulfilling and rewarding. And that's the thing about being an entrepreneur, not to turn anybody off. But I learned many, many years ago to take the focus off me and put my focus onto those I wanted to serve. And my whole life changed. I love nothing more than seeing the lights go on for people and seeing them live their dream life, or the just turning the impossible to possible. I think that's what you're saying, and that's what you're helping women do. Where do you see yourself in a few years from now, Lindsay? So we're starting off with accessories. What's next for you? I mean, where do you see your life pivoting to?
So my goal with my product brand is to continue to create serviceable style products that make people's lives easier. That's really our philosophy. And it's also how I inject my own personality into products. Like I want to create products that create conversation and get people sharing. So to expand upon our product offerings for sure and build my name as, you know, kind of a resource for products. And then obviously there's so many levels to that, getting into different stores. But I also think it also is part of like growing that mentor side of me on a large scale, because I'm seeing such a huge response and an influx of interest in that from mostly the younger audience. So I think there's going to be something that we will be evolving. I'll tell you, Amanda, there's so much going on, as you know, and you want to do so much, but you're like, I'm only one person doing 20 jobs. Like how? And you just have to have faith in that you're doing as much as you can do. And I'm not that person who is like, everything's mapped out for the next 5 years. I love people like that. I want to hire them to work for my company. But I'm so much more of a visionary, and I tap into my intuition. So when you ask in the next few years, that's the basis, but we'll see where it kind of moves and flows. Like, so exciting, I'm sure you know, things have come up in your career that you were like, I didn't realize I was manifesting this to happen, or that this opportunity would come from this journey. And it's almost that I didn't realize that I wanted this that's happening, that I was kind of building up to this moment. Like that's what's also really exciting about business, right?
Oh, and being a visionary. I mean, before I started Millionairess magazine, I retired for 3 big weeks. I was so bored.
That's a vacation.
But like you, I wanted to impact other people's lives. I wanted to show others what was possible, especially business women and people with a dream to live their life by design, not by conformity. And I see that with you, and just this conversation reaching tens of thousands of women. This is mentoring. This is igniting a spark within somebody else. I think that's what keeps me getting out of bed every day. I love these conversations.
Yes.
What are you most proud of along your journey so far? I mean, you're very young at 40, but you've lived a big life. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of?
I guess, gosh, there in all the areas, you know, of styling and whatnot, there's these moments that stick out, you know, that have pivoted and elevated me to the next level. But I think presently, I think the fact that I was able to self-fund and launch my own company based off of just my own hard work and being smart with my money. That pile of money that I invested in launching my product brand, every cent was earned. Every cent I cried over, was happy over, like every part of it I earned. And then to launch it and put it into a business that is thriving during this health crisis is something that I think about all the time. And I am just like, thank you. Thank you. I do deserve it. I will do right by people. Just keep it going, because I think that's what I'm most proud of, is launching this brand with my own money. And then the fact that it's thriving right now. It's just a dream. I can say it over and over again.
Oh, I want to say congratulations. I know what a big deal that is.
Thank you.
And the thing is, you're serving millions of people. You've got hundreds of thousands of followers out there who love what you're sharing. And I think this is the fair exchange, or giving, receiving, and that's what makes the world go around. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
So for the women out there that would just, really got their heart set on being an influencer, making a difference in life. I'm not talking about overnight success. I'm talking about the real woman with a real vision to create something of value. And she hasn't quite gotten started. What would be your top 3 tips that you could share to help her move forward?
I mean, like I said, consistency is everything. If you're going to stop, you have to have a plan, like a schedule. Okay, if it's Instagram, I'm going to post every single day. And then maybe at the end of every week, I'm going to look at the data and see which post did well. So the following week, I can do more of that or analyze. So I think that's big. I can't stand when I see influencers or people who are just starting out who post terrible photos, blurry photos, poorly lit. You can't do that now. It's too competitive. If you really want to compete and earn a following, you have to have quality content. Like, don't even post it because you have nothing else. Better to not post than post something that's blurry or just poor quality. So that's really important. I mean, the other thing I would say is just believe in it and commit to it, and give it time. And time is not months. Maybe time is like a year. No one watched my YouTube channel for a year and a half before my brand deal started coming in. So things take time, so I share that with people all the time. Just because it's not happening now doesn't mean that you're not planting the seed for it to happen down the road, but you have to keep tending and cultivating, or else we'll never see that moment.
I love what you just shared there. And even when we started our new brand, we don't have a massive following on social because it's brand new, but it's just like a flower or a carrot. We'll say a carrot because you can't see that in the ground when you first.
Yeah. And
you're going, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? And it's like that with business. And I think that's the thing, is patience and belief, and then getting around those people who believe in you. And I think that's what I love about your channel, is the thing that you didn't mention there that I see is authenticity. How important is it just to be you? I mean, you're very raw and real, girlfriend. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that comes I think that's so important, just to let it rip right now. The consumer is so sophisticated now that they're going to see right through, you trying to be something you're not, or holding back. People can sense that. People are very in tune with what they're being served, as far as content, and people have a lot of choices. So your choice is the only choice that is authentic to you. So that's what you should be going with. And that could even be highlighting your failures. Maybe you've always had a hard time, I don't know, with memory loss in your whole life. So maybe you start something on that, and then you help people with different, maybe things that they have going on in your life, and you can draw from your experiences of having this issue, and then kind of like evolve content into that. I mean, it's crazy. You can literally do whatever you want now. That's what's so cool, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's not hurting anybody.
Exactly.
There's billions of people out there, and we're all very different. So that means that there needs to be a lot of different things on the menu for people.
Yeah. And that's the wonderful thing about social media, is that there is something for everyone. And I think being authentic is important, because you got to keep this up. It's damn hard to keep up the commitment and the momentum when you're trying to be somebody that you're not. Take the mask off and just be yourself.
Yes.
I don't turn up like this every day, and I'm often out on the beach and just daggy around the pool. But as long as the message, like you said, is authentic, and you really have value at heart and wanting to help people, just get started. So many people just want it to be perfect, Lindsay, but it ain't never perfect.
No, it isn't. And it's true. You have to focus on like what you're good at, what experiences you've had, what you feel passionate about, what you're concerned about. I mean, right there is a jumping off point to figuring out what you want to do. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all, but you have to understand the space as far as like the quality and what you're putting out there. I think that's so important. I see brands all the time, and I'm like, even huge brands, I won't name names, but huge old brands, you're just like, what is this feed? This is like, looks like 2001, so it's really not that hard to take a decent photo that's not blurry and nice lighting. It's going to take effort,
So a little bit. So what you're saying there is your brand is kind of like clothing. Sometimes it needs a little updating, a little refreshing.
Yes, Exactly.
All right, beautiful. I have one final question for you. I've just loved this conversation. Lindsay, what would you specifically love to be known and remembered for?
I think it's kind of what you said. I think I just want to be appreciated for just being me, whether that can be a little messy, really driven, inspirational. I think all those things together, just relatable, is what truly just relatable is what I would want. If there was one word, it would be just relatable. Like, she's relatable. And I get a lot, like, I love your energy and I love how relatable you are. And that's and just maintaining that. I mean, and I won't change. I'm 40 now. I've been through, I feel like, some of the worst stuff ever at a young age when I didn't understand why it was happening. And now I know it's just life, So I think it won't be that hard to maintain that relatability, because it's just me. But I hope that that's how people remember me.
Well, I think that's why so many thousands of people are in love with you, in love with the story. But that's what we all want. We all want to get back to what's deep inside of us. We all want to be loved for who we are. I know that to be true. Yes. And I think that's where your shining message is. I can't wait to see what unfolds for you.
Thank you.
I tell you what, when we get back to America, I'll definitely look you up, because Venice is where I'll be heading to.
I would love to get together. I would love that. Hopefully sooner than later, but we're on pause right now a little bit, aren't we?
But here we are on a global stage. And I want to say thank you, Lindsay, for being part of the Millionairess movement and the magazine, because your story is enriching, inspiring, and I know it will impact our next generation. And that's what this is all about. And I just want to say thank you to let you know how much I've enjoyed today.
I appreciate that. And thank you for thinking that I'm credible enough to be on in your publication. I really I appreciate it. It's a great compliment. Thank you. And you've been so lovely too.
I just love to have a bit of fun like you. Life's too short to take yourself too seriously. Well, we'll be in touch, beautiful, and hopefully I'll get to see you again. I know I'll get to see you again, definitely in America. But in the meantime, you take care, and if there's anything we can do to help you, reach out, and I'll be getting my bag tote and showing that off. I can't wait. And so thank you for all that you do.
Yes, likewise. And let me know, obviously, when this is out, because I'll promote it on my social platforms. And so definitely have your team, share it with me, because I'd be happy to share.
We'll be giving you all of your digital assets. We make it so easy for you, and we appreciate that. Let's get this message out there, help more people, and live our lives by design. Thanks, beautiful lady. Talk to you soon.
Bye.